Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting for Team 1 in the north, ending with Team 2 in the south, also known as Blue Team versus Red Team. Starting off with Team Blue, northeastern must play in Stitch Blue is Drumacos, going first air as a Cyber, and he is a 1665 rated, the highest rated player on Team 1, and barely the highest rated player overall. To his west in Royal Blue, we have Irkop, going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1233 rated in Royal Blue, and I'll probably shorten his name to Cop for short. Do not know how to pronounce the first part of his name. And to his southwest, we have in Amethyst Purple, Dyson V12 Vacuum, going first line as a UEF. He's a 1388 rated, and we'll refer to him as Dyson because I'm not saying Dyson V12 Vacuum every single time. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have one Cybern, one Aeon, and one UEF, going with the OGs this game, which means they lack Seraphim technology. Starting off with Team Red, southwesternmost player in Ruby Red is Seal Force, going first line as a Cybern. He is a 1642, the highest rated player on Team 2. To his east, already on the move, is I4 Salter. I never know how to pronounce the first part of his name. I'm going to be calling him Salter for short. He is in Chevy Crimson. He is a 1227 rated. And to his east, the only Seraphim of the game is Sailor Moon, going first line, second air in orange to color orange. He's a 1422 rated. So for Team 2 side of the map, we have a UEF, a Cybern, and a Seraphim, which means Team 2 lacks Aeon. And as a reminder, Team 1 lacks Seraphim, and we already have some bombers coming out from Team 1. But before we go ahead and talk about that, let's go ahead and talk about the reclaim on the map. And for 6 players, there's only not even 4,000 mass, so it's a little bit over 600 mass per player. Honestly, most of that mass residing in Team 1 and Team 2's territory respectively, and a little bit of mass on the edges of the map, but besides that, not really a whole lot. And in terms of mass point layouts, let's take a look at Team 2 side of the map. There's a quad mechs down here, another quad mechs right here. I'm kind of being generous with that quad mechs, to be fair. Another quad right here, and it's realistically about it. There's one corner mechs for each of our teams to grab, and one on an upper plateau. But as you can see, there is a lot of water to conquer in this game, so our players will probably be focusing on Navy, at least one in the western pond and one in the eastern pond, and of course probably 1v1 in the middle. And with that out of the way, I'm going to speed it up to +2 just a little bit more. It is a ladder match, so it takes a little bit for our players to get across to the midpoint on the map, especially with there being essentially one mid causeway position, and mainly being Navy. It's going to take a little bit longer for more of the starting plays to mature. We do see, again, a couple of raiding units, a couple of bombers outbound from Drumacos in from the north. They did a little bit of damage to Team 2, going after engineers specifically, not necessarily the end-all be-all moves from him, but at least trying to delay the expansionary efforts at a minimum is better than nothing. And we see transports, most likely with engineers only on board. We see a couple of them being dropped off by 2 of the 3 players on Team 1, trying to aggressively position themselves on the map. Unfortunately, this one over here, probably not the best idea due to the fact there are already 2 comms here from Team 2, and there's interceptors nearby, so they will know about that position very, very carefully and easily, and therefore I don't really see that really materializing. There's already THAMs on board coming in to intercept those engineers, trying to get some mexes online, be able to get a couple of them, but honestly, I don't really see this going any which way positively for Team 1. It's mainly just going to be a little bit of an annoyance for a couple of THAMs. One engineer might escape, maybe, maybe not. Will depend on that, if that THAM is out for blood or not. We even see Salter moving in to deal with the remains of that aggressive drop from, I think that was from Cop. Yeah, it's from Cop. And I don't think that engineer escaped either, so no survivors from that drop in the east. Expansionary efforts here by Drumacos and also from Cop. Same thing in the west here for Team 2. But we do see a couple of Dyson's forces, a couple of these Lobos running around the map, going after these Team 1 mexes, just trying to, again, very much harass their opponents. And given the fact that land is going to be essentially landlocked, in the middle of the map between these two teams. It's not going to be a lot of progress one way or the other. That's where I think Navy's going to come in handy. I do like this drop outbound from Drumlicast in the east. Just one lonely engineer going to be dropped. Oh, Nate, no. What was that about? It looked like the engineer was going to be dropped off on top of where the radar was going to go. And therefore, because of that, unfortunately, the engineer couldn't be dropped off, then went back, and then decided to go back in, but then the engineer died anyways. So, yeah, not really great here for Team 1. Another drop-off by Team 1, this time from Cop, going after Mechs in Team 2's mainland. Again, just being constantly annoying on Team 2's side of the map, constantly raiding, really just letting Team 2 have it. Engineers and units being drugged back to deal with this. Couple of PD spammed up to deal with it as well. Engineers trying to bring out some units, but constantly being denied by the artillery. Bombers over top as well, trying to deal with the rest of those. What are the... Yeah, they're Fervors. I was going to say they're Zui, but they don't have Seraphim. Gun damage range has been started for Salta in the middle. T2 has been started for Dyson in the middle as well. Looks like it's going to be 3v2 in the middle, with Cop looking like he's going to come from the rear as well and to assist. So it's going to be all three of the players for both teams down the central causeway. Don't see any efforts to go for Navy for either of the players on Team 2 that I would think, either that being Sailor Moon or Seal Force. T2 Air has been established for Salter in the middle, and T2 Air has also been established for Drumlicast in the east. He also has one naval facility online. And surprisingly enough, at 10 minutes, I don't see any efforts from Team 2 at all to go for Navy. We do see some efforts from Cop to go for Navy as well in the west. Maybe that would be the play to win the game, with Team 2 not even having any sort of presence in Navy. I feel like that's a mistake, considering the fact that Team 1 could easily just encircle this upper plateau with cruisers and call it a day. They do have UEF tech, specifically in the east at Cybran, so they don't have the missiles on board. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a UEF facility over here at some point. And it's also Aeon over here, so still no UEF in Navy. Very interestingly, just due to the fact that you really want those cruiser missiles just spamming up constantly. T2 is done in the middle for Dyson, and we see gun speed started for Cop. T2 started for Sailor Moon, has gun on board. Engineer, do not tell me you are capturing. Sir, first of all, your wheels need to be flipped. Oh, I can't even see you because of the little dot. The wheels need to be flipped around. Also, it takes forever to capture stuff in this game, so why? I mean, you might as well just reclaim. That'd be a lot more efficient. And it, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really understand. Maybe it was a misclick. I don't know, but I feel like that's not a great thing to do. I mean, it's not useful at all. Capturing isn't a thing. If they made capturing faster, I feel like maybe more players would adopt it, but even then, I don't really see that being the case. Couple of Corsairs running to the northeastern side of the map. Looks like they're trying to deny the expansion efforts by Team 1 to go for 2 air players. T3 Air has been started. At least the upgrade is on its way. Corsairs are on their way, and some T2 AA flak is online. Unfortunately, those Corsairs are on their way, probably targeting those pigeons, I would surmise. And yes, they are. Second volley inbound. The first pigeon is down. Second pigeon is also down. That upgrade will be stalled for the time being. Looks like they're going to go westward, going after this base. Looks like they're going to go after some Mechs and miss some of their shots. More Mechs are being targeted by those Corsairs. Team 1 is going to be hampered in their air expansion efforts, but 2 T2 pigeons are being reestablished to deal with that loss in power. Drumlicast, how's your power? Not great, as evidenced by the fact that he has lost both of those T2 pigeons. Interceptors from Dyson come in to assist. Corsairs have done a very good job of dealing with the pigeons and a couple of Mechs here for Team 1. Definitely going to slow the upgrade. Another T2 air facility online, so everyone on Team 1 having some sort of ability to fight in the air. Team 2 looks like it's 2 air players so far. Third one of Sailor Moon, a little bit more focused on the land game, but still no Navy on the eastern side of the map for Team 2, and nothing on the west for them as well. They're ignoring a huge portion of the game, and unlike Setons, essentially everywhere on the map can be targeted by some sort of naval units. I mean, especially those battleships. I mean, they have long range. Everything can be targeted this side of the map, obviously on this side, and this side of the map on this side. So Team 2 really needs to get their naval defenses online. Well, it's going to be a really quick match. I would not be surprised if Team 1 starts to focus Navy a little bit more. I mean, air is going to be important as well, but I feel like Navy might be the thing that wins Team 1 the game. And we have a couple of Yenzin running around the map taking some shots at some PD. One PD will take out that one Yenzin, but a wall section is trying to be established to protect that PD. It will get another kill with the help of those engineers. Another PD was established. Very quick thinking here by Drumakas. Unfortunately, those Yenzin will not have enough support to deal with that second PD, and that attack will be stopped. Torpedo coming online here for Steel Force in the middle. He is a Cybran, the only faction capable of putting a torpedo on board his chassis. They like to put torpedoes and lasers on their chests, because why not? Why not do that? Very high risk, high reward plays those Cybrans like to use. Multiple facilities being established by Steel Force as well. So he's finally getting into the naval side of things. Team 1 has the advantage. He can come back, but it is going to take a lot of effort. 2 players on Team 2 have T3 air. 1 player on Team 1 has T3 air, and then the other 2 only have T2. But to be fair, I think Drumakas is going to be the main air player, and these guys are just going to go for either gunships, torp bombers, or, I mean, you could build swift winds, but it's not super great. Not in ASF territory. You go for mercies, but I don't really see those nowadays just because they got nerfed a while ago. Or, okay, to be fair, they got a little nerf, and then they had a rework on top of that, so they're not really as useful as they once were for the things that they were used for. I think that sentence made sense. But I just don't really see them used anymore. It's definitely unfortunate, but they're not. You don't see any mercy snipes anymore, realistically. Steel Force going for stealth. Maybe he'll go for cloaking and run around on the bottom of the pond with his torpedo. T2 Navy is online, and he's building some cruisers. Usually you'd build destroyers first to deal with the opponent's navy, but because there is no navy, going for cruisers would be highly effective because those cruisers can target ground units with their main cannons. Their accuracy is definitely not great, but you know, something is better than nothing. So that'd be very useful to locking out air on the eastern side, and on the western side, T2 Navy has not been priority yet, but I would not be surprised if Cop does go for T2 here pretty shortly. And I'm going to speed it up just a little bit more just because it's kind of a nice little lull in the action. Looks like some missiles are outbound here from Team 1's Dyson going after some Mechs. That T2 Mechs is going to get killed off, unfortunately, for Team 2. And that might prompt an attack outbound from Team 2, actually. Nope, no, they're going to sit here and wait. Looks like they're sending their hover tech east while the main group of units here from Team 1 come and barrel down the front door. There are 3 comms nearby. We have Steel Force with torpedo and stealth, Sailor Moon with T2 and gun, and Salter with gun. There's a lot of pillars in this mix. There are a lot of forces inbound here from Dyson trying to force back Team 2. Steel Force can probably pop out of the water and assist. And I don't know. I mean, it's looking like they're starting to overwhelm this main facility. There are a couple of PD online. Sailor Moon targeting all of those strikers, trying to take out some easy veterancy so we can get to 1 star. Salter already at 1 star, working on his 2nd star. Steel Force pops back out of the water, helping to assist dealing with these pillars. There's a lot of pillars here, but most of them have already been destroyed. Yenzin that were moving eastward came back, and that really is what forced Team 1 to really just call off this attack. A lot of the forces got killed off very, very easily. It looked like a slam dunk, but because there were 3 comms here, 2 of them with gun, it made a huge difference. T3 Strat Bomber online, gonna drop, going after that missile launcher, and a T2 Mechs. Nice grab here by Salter. ASF already on station to try to capture it, intercept, or not capture it, but destroy it. Bomber gonna continue, go northward, gonna drop another bomb, take out some T2 P-Gens against Dyson, and ASF, actually no, that looks like that was an interceptor. Looks like the ASF is going to turn around, or that bomber's going to turn around. ASF still protecting that bomber. Bomber going to wait to be given more orders, but ASF's here from Team 1 come and respond. Bomber's going to go for one last target before it is shot down. There it goes, going after T2 Mechs. And it is shot down in Dyson's base. He has T3 land online. T2 air still online. T3 obviously expansionary efforts in the air for Drumakas. No efforts for... Nope. T2 tech has been ordered to upgrade here for COP in the naval side of things. The middle of the map definitely kind of devoid of any sort of combat for the time being. There's some terrain to deal with, just a tiny bit of hills. But mainly it's just T2 units running around, T2 units running around for both teams, kind of just hanging out in the middle of the map. With 3 comms here, it's really hard to punch through on land. That is essentially the downside also of sentences, because there's really only one land engagement area, essentially the middle causeway. It's really hard to do anything with land, so essentially you just build your own walls, build some defenses, and you're like, okay, ignore it, focus on Navy or air or whatever. So I feel like kind of echoing sentence in this game just due to the fact that that's how the land side of things kind of just worked out. And when I was reviewing this game, just to make sure it was good to cast, I thought about the fact that the map, at least the main landmass, kind of reminds me, I don't remember his name, but it's like this robot from Super Smash. Can't remember, he's very kind of bulky. He has treads for wheels, or treads for wheels, treads for legs. I just can't remember his name. But let me know down in the comments if anybody remembers his name. That's his head, essentially his 2 arms. You can ignore this part. And then obviously his treads, his legs down there. In the east, that naval facility was taken out at some point, or reclaimed, or both. Probably destroyed and then reclaimed. So naval production has stopped here for Team 1 in the east, but continue to go on in the west. Gunships coming in for some sort of snipe, but there is some flak here, and ASFs immediately respond to this. These Stingers don't really have a lot of hit points, don't really have a lot of damage. Tried to snipe a T2 Mechs, not worth it, unfortunately. And even if they did, I think the mass loss from those strikers wouldn't even been worth it for one solitary T2 Mechs. Anything cooking here in both of these bases here for Team 2 and Team 1? Not really right now. Still just kind of expanding out their ecos. Team 2, speaking of which, is winning that game by a little bit. Not terribly much. Team 1 sitting at a little bit over 400. Team 2 about 450. So about a 40-30 mass income lead here for Team 2. Both sides of the map relatively even here. I don't see any sort of advantage unless you talk about Navy. There's some naval units here for Team 1, some naval units for Team 1 and Team 2. No T2 Navy, well, units out yet, but the facility has been established. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I very much appreciate all the time and attention you give, not only to these videos, but to the channel in general. Thank you so very much. I really do appreciate the support, and which is one of the reasons why I continue to cast this game or at least release a video every single day. I don't necessarily cast it every day because of just my schedule and availability and the whatnot. Life is annoying sometimes, but it's I just got to deal with it because it is my life, of course. Got to work, got to make money. One day I want obviously YouTube to be my primary income, but for now it's nice to at least be monetized at a minimum, so I thank each and every one of you for subscribing to make that happen. In the middle, nothing really happens here. It looks like just Team 1's Dyson tries to attack, goes nope, can't break through, and falls back. The only thing I don't like is that Seal Force put his naval headquarters here instead of maybe back here. It's very easy for land units from Team 1 to easily come in and just bombard this position. So I don't really agree with that. And we even see just bombers coming in, targeting a lot of the engineering support here for Seal Force, trying to reduce the amount of engineers for the facility. Another destroyer is built, or at least that was probably the first one. Looks like he's going for cruisers next. Trying to establish some AA. Trying to push back on Team 1, but there's a couple of some sub-hunters here for COP, and he just has more engineers, more facilities, at least T2 facilities at least, and some assistance from his teammate of Dyson as well. We don't see any sort of thing like that happening for Team 2, and Destroyer gets wiped by those Titans on the shoreline. Not great here for Team 2's Navy, especially when you have multiple destroyers and sub-hunters chasing down that Salem-class destroyer. And we have, again, those Titans still roaming the map, and some Perseus as well for the middle. nothing really happening in the east. We have Drimokos very much being quiet about his facility, just pumping out a couple of cruisers, not really doing a whole lot of offensive action here. We have some Stingers targeting the T2 naval headquarters, and there, once again, just pointing out the fact that it was too close to the land, but at this point it's too close to the Navy. Team 2 would have had to, or Team 1 would have had to go all the way around and into the cove. Team 2 could have easily prepared for that encounter, but unfortunately it was not the case. Seal Force does have the laser, probably wishing he had the torpedo now, but he got rid of it for the laser. Don't know what he's going to do with it. He has stealth on board, so Team 1 can see him. They just can't see him with radar, at least for right now, until they get Omni on the line. Nuke online here, speaking of which, here for Team 1's Dyson. Going to load that quite heavily. 25 minutes on the clock, already going for a nuke. Second T3 air headquarters for COP, at least in terms of Team 1's count for T3 air. I would not be surprised to see Dyson go T3 just so that he has it. Not necessarily he's going to use it heavily like the other players on Team 1, but just having it is better than not, needing it and not having it versus having it and not needing it, that sort of thing. Air expansions for both of these players in the south. That might be Team 2's way to win this game, is with a lot of air, but again, cruisers are very effective at dealing with ASF and gunships and all of the airbound units. Speaking of gunships coming out, dealing with these destroyers, there's also a couple of cruisers as well in this mix. You can see just the cruisers alone really just hammering the hit points on those whalers. You think the whalers, it's its job to whale, but they're being whaled by something else. And there's my dad joke, I think, for the day. In the east, those cruisers trying to attack the T2, actually not even Omni, just radar system. Now it's going to be 0T, or T0, because it is dead. Tried to make another joke there, did not work. I kind of failed halfway through that joke. But Titans and Perseus ripping apart these Othams in the middle of the map. Probably should have sent them in the water around. Artillery also outbound here from Sailor Moon, trying to just deal with these units. They're very much clumped together, so it's very effective for that AoE spread on the artillery, but not really useful for dealing with fast-moving units, or, their units just sitting there getting shot at by a bunch. Missile launchers trying to bombard the base for Sailor Moon in the middle of the map. Seal Force coming in again. Team 1 can see him. He has Nano on board, so at least he can rep up hit points quickly. Is facing down some Perseus, so has to be very careful. He can be blitzed down very, very quickly here. Sub 10,000 hit points. He's still in the yellow, getting veterancy very, very quickly, though, targeting the more bulky of units. He's dropping into the red, gets a rank in veterancy just barely to save his hide. That was very, very close to him losing his life here. He still is in the red, but he is fine for now. That was very, very close. Very unnecessary. Had he gone for cloaking, that wouldn't have even been an issue, but whoo, that was close here. He was dropped, I think 1,500 was his lowest. Bunch of spam on the water here for Team 2 Sailor Moon, going for those Yenzin, targeting those horde of cruisers, horde being 4. Wouldn't call it a horde necessarily. It looks like they're going after the T2 naval headquarters in the east. Destroyers are being built in a response to that, and now those units trying to circle around those Yenzin. Again, the accuracy is not great, but just because there's so many shots going down range, it's probably going to be enough to deal with most of these Yenzin. But they might get a kill on the the destroyers, though, so that's something. And in the middle of the map, still Seal Force pushing forward. He has Nano, 108 hit points a second regen. Now he's sitting at 5-star veterancy, 13,000 mass killed. Now we see those destroyers bombarding the middle causeway position. There is a decent amount of artillery here to try to dissuade these destroyers from sitting still, which, as evidenced by the fact the artillery rained in, essentially killed 2 destroyers in one volley. Team 1's COP probably should start at least keeping them on the move, because destroyers can still fire while moving, so that's still a thing. And the T2 naval headquarters might go down. Yo, the Yenzin get it. Oh, just barely. The T2 naval headquarters goes down. Great move by Sailor Moon. And Nuke is outbound. Where is it going? It's going for the T3 air headquarters here for Sailor Moon, and his land headquarters and his pigeons. That is going to hurt. Let's take a look at his eco so far, sitting at 5,000 plus energy and sitting at 300 mass income. That nuke is outbound for his base. No SMD has been built. I'm assuming Team 2 will build more in response. SMD immediately has been priority. Looks like it will be out of range of the nuke. We'll just have to see. Here it comes. ASF flying over top. Not going to like that. Boom! Takes out everything. Drops his energy production quite severely. Also drops his income from a little over 300 to 227, 250, depending on energy and the whatnot, which is slowly being drained. So definitely not looking good. Gonna build a P-Gen to try to just cover his losses. So it's gonna be a little bit of time before Sailor Moon's back up and operational, which means his shields might come offline due to that, but I think he's doing not too bad. He's getting a little bit, I think, of overflow from his teammates. No, a tiny bit, but not by much. But there are multiple shield emplacements as well here for Team 2, so one can cover the other. There go the shields, and then they pop back online, I'm assuming pretty shortly. So he should be fine for now. That artillery is also keeping the destroyers and whatnot at bay, so if he is down a little bit of power, it's not the worst thing in the game. Expansionary efforts in the air here for both of these players. And that giant hole in Team 2's main base territory definitely going to allow Team 1 to exploit that quite significantly. Second nuke already almost half loaded, 51,000 mass killed with that first nuke. And we see hives being built in the north, probably for maybe artillery, maybe just from spamming out nukes. I don't know, but we'll see what he does with those. And cruisers now starting to congregate around the bay. We see some Othams moving in as well. Where'd that comm go? For SEAL Force. Oh, he's back here. He's being escorted by a T3 mobile shield generator. I feel like at this point, Sailor Moon should just gift that over, because why not? Yeah, it's literally just, I'm going to assist. That is my job. I'm assisting SEAL Force. It's my job. It's very entertaining. Othams pushing forward in the water. Will be spotted, of course, and have been spotted. But we do see just ASF's kind of sitting here waiting. Probably waiting for some gunships to arrive off the production fields. Percy's coming in to assist. Othams dealing some blows to some T2 mexes, whether they're fully ringed or not. It's definitely going to hurt the eco quite. Not a lot, but a chunk for Dyson. They're going to shift eastward to avoid the Percy's moving northward. And some PD being built to halt their incoming aggressors. Where is that comm? No, everyone's still hit. Oh, okay, there it is. No, I was looking for the comm because I figured at some point he'd go for cloaking or teleportation, and he has started with the cloaking. Which, if he goes for cloaking, he'd have to walk across the map, which is definitely a risky play. If Team 1 has Omni, that is over for that play, but I don't see any Omni as of yet. Definitely a disappointment here. T2 and T2 over here, but no T3. Very weird. It looked like his own units were targeting him, but there was some Othams in there. Drimacus looks like he popped out of the water, shot them, and went back in. He did take some hits. 24 hit point a second regen. Should be fine, though, especially if he doesn't see any action for a while. Gunships protecting SEAL Forces commander. Now we see a decent amount of those forces outbound from Cop in the west. Going to go through this little narrow neck of water into the main bay of Team 2's western base. Again, very surprising. There's still no Navy, even with the multiple T2 naval headquarters that Team 2 have destroyed on Drimacus' side of the map. Still no effort to go into Navy. I don't agree with that. I mean, there is a decent high plateau, but it's just, I don't agree with this. And ringing your T1 mechs gives you one more mass. Probably should upgrade that. But, I mean, it's there at least. You probably forgot about it. I mean, it's only one mechs in the small corner of the map, so it's not really that important. But, I mean, could get 6 mass, actually 9 mass out of it versus the 3 that he's currently getting. So it would triple his income from that. But anyway. Cloaking at 40% here for SEAL Force. Yeah, definitely don't know why he's going for cloaking instead of teleportation. I don't see realistically any PD nearby as of yet. And I feel like if he walks across the map, Team 1 has time to respond. Fatboy has started. SMD also built. Another nuke about to load. Looks like a lot of emphasis has been shifted from the Nuke to the Fat Boy production. Wants to push the middle causeway. Bunch of ASFs and a ton of T2 Storks. Storks are online here for Salter. Moving in, probably going after those cruisers. Unfortunately, those cruisers are going to rip through those Storks very, very quickly, especially there being that many of them. And they're going to distribute those attack orders. There they go. Those cruisers are going to be ripped apart. You can see the torpedoes chasing down those cruisers. Another one is down. Another one is down. Looks like all of the cruisers have been destroyed. But a lot of those Storks have been taken out. T1 bombers ripped apart on the shoreline. ASF fight over the top of Drimokasa's base. You can see all the wrecks on the ground. And looks like ASF's here from CO Force coming in to assist. We could see the first major air fight. It doesn't look like Team 1 wants to engage. They don't have the numbers, most definitely, so they don't want to. And Salter's still pushing his forces forward, essentially forcing the ASF back from Team 1. Now the rest of those torp bombers dealing with the Trident-class frigates. Probably would be targeting the T2 naval headquarters, and they're producing more cruisers to deal with said bombers, so that probably would be the target. ASF's coming in, going after those gunships, it looks like, but going to be ripped apart. Again, the whalers do have decent AA on board. It looks like maybe they'll get one of those whalers, but not really a whole lot. Salem will be annihilated. And some T1 AA being spammed up on the shoreline as well to deal with the incoming threat of the air. And this is where Team 2 is going to start to shine. Oh, looks like those units didn't even go through the naval side of things. There's a couple of Vespers down here in the water, but they can't do anything if there's nothing down there. Bunch of Mechs are down, though. So it's currently Team 2 not really doing great on keeping territory. I mean, they've lost a decent amount of Mechs. Team 1 has kept them. And ASFs just get slaughtered over the middle causeway. Team 1 starting to lose all of their air and then some. Team 2 has air control, actually air dominance at this point at 35 minutes on the clock. And CO Force does have cloaking and is going to, looks like he's just going to full send his commander. He does have a crab with him. So maybe he'll try to hide, air quotes, in the crab shadow to mask his approach. Team 1 still does not have Omni online. Definitely very weird here. I mean, especially at 36 minutes. I mean, Team 2 doesn't even have Omni. Well, they were building it. Looks like they're upgrading it as we speak, but very interesting to not see anybody have an Omni at 36 minutes. It's one thing if you had it and then they lost it, but I don't think anybody's had it at this point in the game. Grab is pushing forward, going after the cruiser in the east. Where's that Com? Com is still chasing his megalith. Looks like he will. I think he'll catch up to it at some point. Let's see, it's going to take him a minute to walk there. Going to take. You stop. Give your crab orders so I can see how long it's going to take. ASF's being, just nipped and prodded at by those cruisers in the bay. I feel like that crab could easily just walk over and kill all those cruisers off. Crab targeting the Percy's on the land. That one gets away with 450 hit points. Missiles going after those ASF on the eastern side. And there go the slaughtering of those cruisers from Team 1's COP. That's got to hurt. All the time and energy and whatnot built for those. I mean, is able to save a couple of them, but decent amount of the AA has been taken out. T3 has not been established yet for Team 1 in the east. T3 has been established for Team 1. They do have 2 Kiefer-class aircraft carriers as well as an Omen. Omen is targeting the Megalith as we speak, and that Com has caught up with his Megalith companion. Still very interesting that, again, he's sending that forward. ARAS being built by somebody on Team 1. Just literally gonna hide in his shadow. It's not enough for him just to have cloaking. He's got to hide in the shadow to mask his approach. Fatboy is online targeting that Megalith. If Team 1 notices the Com of Seal Force, it's going to be a very quick trip here for him. Still no Omni. Very, very surprising. There are units that have Omni sensors on board, but not having an Omni radar facility is definitely a mistake here from Team 1. Nuke is online and loaded. Second one about to load as well, so Dyson's going to have 2 nukes loaded pretty quickly here. And that crab chasing down that Fat Boy. Fat Boy is actually going to stop moving. Fat Boy now in range of the Megalith, needs to keep moving. And unfortunately, it does not move. Looks like the comm is going to move eastward, using the crab as the main distraction to allow his comm to move in around. Doesn't want to be spotted by Team 1. I can't see him as of yet. No radar signature, no vision on him as of yet. Crab does kill that Fat Boy. And now we have Perseus coming in to try to deal with the rest of the hit points on board the Megalith. We are seeing some naval facility expansion here for Team 2 SEAL Force. At this point, just build them back here so they're better protected. Building them right there is just asking for Team 1 to attack once again. Another crab is built by SEAL Force in the west. Nuke is outbound, going for the crab. The crab is going to die. It's a short trip for that nuke, but at least it would kill the Megalith. So at a minimum, Team 1 burns a nuke, but they kill off the crab. There were bombers already on board, moving to intercept, and actually a squadron of those bombers do get taken out. Kaboom! 18,000 mass dumped on Team 1's doorstep, but they killed 15,000, so is it worth it? I don't know, but there's definitely a nice distraction for this comm who's moving in. Team 1 still doesn't, looks like they've, they've spotted, they're kind of spotting him. No, that's a sonar facility being built by that SACU. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Looks like he's stopping, trying to chase. Does that? Oh, it does have, the SACU does have an Omni sensor, so that's what spotted the comm. SEAL Force trying to get out of range and continue to move forward. There it is. Omni has spotted the comm of Team 2 SEAL Force. ASF come in for SEAL Force to protect said Commander 12 bombers, as well as regular bombers nearby here for Team 1's. Because they just don't have a target locked on. SACU chasing down the comm. Unfortunately, not the best idea from that SACU. Gets killed off by the laser and the overcharge as well. Going into the airbase here for Team 1's Cop. Gonna run for his life. You can see the comm being chased in the distance. Airfight over the top of this base here for Team 2. Team 2 will win that fight. And the P-gens for that air grid are being ripped to shreds. There goes that overcharge in some weird distance. SMD going to be taken out as well. That's going to hurt. If Team 1 had a nuke, that'd be very beneficial. There's another P-gen that could be taken out. He might need to shift over just a little bit for that. A couple of PD are trying to be built. T2 Mats Fabs being taken out. PD being built over here to protect the Monkey Lord production facility. Looks like they were building RASCOMs out of that, or gating in RASCOMs. SEAL Force dropping pretty quickly with all the PD focusing on him and the obviously the bombers around him. ASF coming once again here. Now it's from his teammate Salta coming in to assist. SEAL Force drops into the yellow again. He already has 5-star veterans. He killed off 52,000 mass in climbing. P-gens have been ordered to be reclaimed. SEAL Force dropping again 38,000 hit points on board that commander. And is now dropped below 8,000. PD still in range. More and more being built. SMD falling again. Ooh, this is a huge play here from Team 2. If Team 2's comm can get out of dodge, this would be great. But he doesn't have teleporter on board. And I think he's thinking that it was just going to be a play to see how much damage he could do. Shields going down. More Mats Fabs going to be taken offline. More PD being built as well. And what's cool effect, I didn't notice this until as I was casting this game, or not casting, but was reviewing the game, is that when the comm is cloaking and he is in the red, his cloaking actually pulses red. I don't know if Team 1 can see that. Well, okay, well, they can't see him at all, but I wonder if, like, vision-wise, if they can see him. Let's see. He should be... Oh, no, he's right there. Let's see if they can see him. Yeah, so they can actually watch it be pulsed... Oh, they can watch it be pulsed red. That's pretty cool. Did not know that. A nice little visual indicator that the comm is in the red. But more Mats Fabs being produced and going to be destroyed. Bombs raining in on SEAL Force. Again, he's repping at 108 hit points a second, so needs a little bit more attack power from Team 1 to kill him off. He's going to try to sit here, maybe wait for someone to come pick him up. I don't see any transports nearby. ASF's going to try and clear the skies for him. There were no efforts. Strat bombers also built by him as well. I don't see any transports from anybody on Team 2. And even if they were able to get him on a transport, getting him to some portion of the map would be very difficult. Zero Force repped up back to the yellow, 11,000 hit points. Monkey Lord inbound. That monkey does have sonar and radar stealth field, and they can see him. And they're just going to ping his location. They can see him directly, and there he goes. Killed off a chunk of mass. I'd say probably 80-something thousand mass killed by that commander. It is now a 3v2, first kill of the game at 42 minutes by Team 1's forces. I think that was Drimacus that got credit for it. Or Cop. I think it was Drimacus, though. And Crab in the base here from Team 2's Seal Force, I would assume. Charge forward. Didn't get a lot of work done. Looks like it was going after the nuke. Second nuke about to reload once again. It's killed off 65,000 mass. Laser over the top here from Salter, going after the pigeons remaining for Drimacus. His air grid is done and dusted. Small air grid remaining here for Cop, but the air supremacy is being established by Team 2, but the naval supremacy is in full swing for Team 1. Multiple battleships and missile ships online for Cop in the west. Nuke outbound going for this chicken, moving in, and that's going to be a point defense nuke right there. Oh, that's not going to feel good here. There it goes. It's going to land right behind that chicken, and boom! Kills it off. Nice point defense nukage. Will have actually saved the nuke. Those almonds need to move in underneath shield coverage. Monkey is inbound, but unfortunately the monkey will rip apart those those Othams before they can kill off the pigeon. And they move in, but it's a little too late on that front. That is gonna hurt. Would have killed off that nuke. Definitely unfortunate. Mavor has been started by Dyson in the west. Definitely interesting. It's definitely not a lot of attention, just a little bit. It's there just in case they want to use it, kind of thing. And the middle causeway base here for Sailor Moon is being destroyed by cruisers, missile ships, and battleships. Not going to last very long, unfortunately for them. Nuke is outbound once again here from Team 1, going after that base anyways. I feel like that's also a waste. Yeah, you kill everything off all at once, essentially, but it's not worth the nuke if you know it's going to get blown up anyways. So could have sent it after, this facility. This SMD is loaded, so maybe not. Could have sent it after, I don't know, something else. Is there an SMD over here? There is, and it's loaded, so that wouldn't have worked. I mean, you could have saved it for SMD taken out, but kaboom! That gets taken out as well. Nuke is currently sitting at 111,000 mass killed. Satellite targeting the mass extractors here for Team 1. Team 1's eco below 1,000. Team 2 at 1.3k, so leading the game by a chunk of mass per second. Unfortunately for Team 2, they have no Navy with what to speak of. Look at this. Just Team 1 has T3 facilities in both ponds, pumping out battleships. I wouldn't be surprised to see some. Yep, there is a Galaxy class online now. Actually, 2 of them to be exact. Another nuke is outbound. Where is it going? It's actually outbound from Team 2's nuke launcher from Sailor Moon. He's building more shields to protect it. Where is it going to land? It's going after Team 1's facility. The SMD was taken out, so at a minimum that was gone, which is going to hurt because the nuke, there are no nukes loaded. That's definitely good here for Team 1. It always hurts when you have a nuke loaded in your nuke launcher and you don't fire it, and it gets blown up. Always going to hurt. But kaboom! Takes out the SMD over here. Quantum Gateway and the nuke launcher. Almost gets Dyson as well. Gets a little bit singed, but he's fine. That's a great nuke here by Team 2 Sailor Moon. Kaboom. Killed off 64,000 mass with that one nuke alone. And now we see the bombardment of Team 2's upper plateau. And there goes the radar system once again. Artillery trying to hold them off. But there's so much fire coming down here from Team 1. It really doesn't matter. Another satellite moving across the map here. Crab going after that battleship. I don't think it does grab it before its death, so that's something, but just one of those things where is it really worth it for one battleship, for one crab? Artillery raining in here from Team 2 Sailor Moon. Second one already half done. And it's going after Drimacus's production facilities, the air grid, and the pigeons. It looks like that's the main target. That pigeon not shielded enough. That's going to blow up. That's not going to feel good. And it's just this slow encapsulation of Team 2's main base. I'm also very surprised that there's no efforts to go on the western side here. We do see pings, most likely from Team 1, saying, hey, move your units over here. And nothing's really happening yet. Monkey Lord moving down the front line here for Team 1. And just everything on the plateau is being destroyed. Second artillery in the green. And this could be devastating for Team 1 if they can't get that artillery from Team 2 under control. I feel like this nuke should go after the T3 naval headquarters in the east, try to prevent the continued construction of those units. Multiple battleships coming off the line. 4 of them built so far. Decent amount of range on board those units. You can see that's how far they can shoot. And they can do a ton of damage. Essentially take out the entirety of Sailor Moon's base, especially if they park it right about here. Starting to blockade any sort of access to the edge of that plateau. You can see just all the structures being whittled down very, very quickly here. In the west, there's no chance of any land incursions. So essentially, it's going to only be long-range attack in air is essentially going to be the only 2 ways that Team 2 can combat Team 1's main base. And most of the fighting is happening on Team 2's side of the map. So yeah, they get a little bit of the mass, but Team 1's able to hold the territory with which the units die, so the reclaim still goes to them. Monkey Lord right in front of Team 1's base. Sailor Moon moves in with his commander. Will he overcharge it is the question. Chicken does get built. Overcharge takes up pretty close to a third of its hit points. And there it goes. Pigeons go down, but nothing really that endangering. The shields around the SMD do fall. Shields pop back online just in time. But again, there's multiple battleships firing on that location. The shield grid is not going to hold for much longer. Second artillery is built, and it is outbound. There it goes. Going after still Jumakas's base. How's the energy reserves for everybody? Still positive, just barely. Definitely positive, and not great for Cop. You need a lot of power, of course, when you're producing naval units. He's pretty much stopped for the time being, just producing engineers. He's grabbed the bay. He could send all of these missile ships, all of the battleships in here, take out the grid back here, try to target the grid here for Salter, really just crush Team 2's air grids, but he's kind of happy sitting over here. The main force that Team 2 is distracted by are the ones over here. We have T3 artillery firing at battleships. What is this? I mean, they're in range, obviously. But still, you have long-range artillery targeting battleships. Definitely is not the best use of that artillery, but I'm not Sailor Moon, so I can't force him to change what he's doing. And the game already happened, so kind of a moot point at that point. Mute point, not moot. Well, I don't know what I said. Nuke is outbound once again, going northward. Going after Dyson again. Man, that nuke really hates Dyson for some reason. It's essentially saying, hey, you built a nuke. You fired it on me. That's it. That's all I'm going to focus on. Kaboom. Takes out, a decent amount. Takes all the shields. A couple of the pigeons survive. That Mavor looks like either it was destroyed or reclaimed. Probably reclaimed. It wasn't really built. Or even actually the defense satellites probably took it out. But Dyson in the yellow, still running around. Still fine. He's not dead, but, it definitely hurts when the nuke is only focusing on you. Could have gone after this base with all these hives back here. That's where a lot of Team 1's eco is coming from. Team 2 actually dropping their eco as well, down to 800. Essentially a tied game in eco production, or mass production in this case. Kill T3 headquarters, says Sailor Moon. Sorry, Seal Force, not Sailor Moon. I mean, it will prevent the construction of more units, but, when you already have multiple battleships online, yeah, it's nice to take it out, but I don't think it's that really worth it. Salter builds another experimental, most likely another satellite. Nope, builds a FAF point, never mind. Don't know what that's going to be used for. Could be sent over here, but I don't really see that being the case right now. Battleships being bombarded. The chicken is going to stand and try to hold position on the plateau. It's being targeted, trying to deal with all the battleships are like, hey, that's a thing I want to target. Let's take that out. And that chicken is got gonna have some words here for these battleships. Look at this. Taking out all of the cruisers first. These are the targets he can hit. Chicken now focusing. Hey, can hit that. I'm gonna get a nice view on this, but it's really hard to get kind of a nice close-up view of what's going on. That one's not too bad. That's like a, oh, there goes the chicken. Never mind. Chicken's dead. That's... Yeah, it's not great. And now the artillery refocuses on that SMD, which is surprisingly still alive. So that's something that Team 2 has going for them. But, I mean, with 2 artillery here, battleships down here, it's not really going well for Team 2 on this eastern side. Their chicken just got obliterated. Artillery dealing a decent amount of damage to Dromakos, but his main facility remaining are these quantum gateways. That's really the only thing keeping his eco afloat. Still has a couple of T3 mechs around, but he's really suffering on the power game, which those SACUs will solve. But, I mean, Dyson decently well, and Cop really struggling, getting some assistance from his teammates in power. Both the remaining players on Team 2 have fine on power, but I mean, they need more mass. They're not gating in more they're gating in more comms, but not as quickly as Team 2. And Seraphim do not get RAS comms, so that's unfortunate, which is the reason why Phantom games, whenever I cast them, they're gifted those, and so they act like quote-unquote player ACUs, and so you get that highlight mod around them, and then there's 1,000 of them running around, and it's hard to tell who's who, essentially. Nano repair coming online here for Sailor Moon. And I feel like it's just the slow whittling down of Team 2's defenses. You just... all these battleships, it's not really going well. How's that nuke loading? Is it loaded? It is loaded. Is it going to fire? Are you firing? Will you fire? You just loaded. I'm going to stare at you until you fire. You're not going to fire. Oh, there, ha ha ha. I was able to make it fire. There we go. Nuke is outbound.
Strategic launch detected.
There it goes. I mean, it's such a... obviously, it's a mini version of the YOLO, but... just you look at the YOLO missile and you're like, that's a huge missile, and then you look at the nukes and you're like, that's very small considering. There goes the nuke going after the T3 Naval headquarters in the east. Another facility. Actually, that's a Scathus that was being built. It's not anymore. Kaboom! Gets denied by Team 2's Sailor Moon. Killed off 238,000 mass. And now we have the invasion of the Salems on land. Kills off all but one of them in its first drop by that Awasaw bomber. And now we have Salem still here. Shields are down around that artillery. Battleship's able to target the artillery. This is not going good. First artillery is the target. Will kill off one of them. Bombs, drops, takes out some hit points, but I think the damage is done. Why isn't it focusing the P-gens? Shield pops back online. Sailor Moon's comms being targeted by the Salem. Sailor Moon's comm. Yep, that's how that makes sense. Short bombers are inbound, targeting those battleships. I can probably slow it back down. There goes another drop outbound. The shields have fallen once again, targeting the P-gens. Will it be enough? Oh, there it goes. The artillery is still online, but the shields around it are down. SACU's blowing up somewhere. I don't know where, but they're blowing up. There goes the bombs drop once more, trying to take care of these battleships, but is it going to be enough? Just a couple more shots. Is it all it takes? The Salem over here is in range. It's targeting the P-gens. Oh, no! The Salem takes out the other artillery. Ow, that's got to hurt. Bombs drop once more. Finally kill off one of those battleships, but the damage is done. Both of the artillery emplacements are gone for Sailor Moon. All that's left for Team 2 are the Novaxes, but one of them's been destroyed. Actually, both of them have been destroyed. Maybe that's what blew up? No, because I don't see any other, like, big ticket. I mean, there's a... What are those? Those look like spy planes, but... Yeah, those are spy planes. That's what they look like. But the damage is done on Team 2 side of the map. It's just going to be the slow death unless they go for a game ender or something. And even at this point, I don't think it's worth it. The artillery, all of the units in the Navy just surrounding Team 2 side of the map. FAF Warrior had to evade, go into the water. T2 Naval Headquarters is online, but it's going for T3. I don't think that'll last very long, unfortunately. And it's just the slow whittling down of Team 2's base. They have a nuke launcher, so that's something, but I don't know if it's going to be enough at this point. We still have Dyson running around the map. SMD back online. SMD is now loaded. Going for this base over here will be shot down by said SMD, so that's not going to work. Drumacas at 500 mass income. Team 2 sitting at 600 income. Team 1 at 900. I think at this point I can speed it up to 3. We have an Awasa bomber going after the T2 Naval Headquarters. Not going to kill it off. Barely alive. And the bomb's going to drop once again, killing off the T2 Naval. But at this point, I don't think that's really worth it. The battleships are already there. It's going to take a while, and even if you deal with these ones over here, the ones over here are going to cause some troubles. Again, the game probably would have been over sooner had these almonds just moved over here and just destroyed everything on the western side of Team 2's side of the map. But bomber will be shot down. Will it be landing on land? There is a desync, but given the fact of Team 2's situation at this point, I mean, they have air control, most definitely. They just can't really use it because they're being hemmed in by cruisers and the like. So getting to the other side of the map isn't going to do anything, and there's multiple T3 air facilities and T2 as well around the map. So it's not going to be that effective. Approaching on 1 hour on the clock. Artillery raining in, trying to take out that nuke. This is Team 2's last hope. One satellite has been rebuilt, second one has been started, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Shield trying to be assisted and kept online for as long as possible, but there's multiple battleships just hyper-focused on it. Looks like the shield will hold, but I don't know if it's going to last that long. Artillery raining in, missiles as well. Team D shooting them down. Some of those Team D have been taken out. T3 Naval Headquarters is online, producing cruisers, but I don't think that's the play. Don't think that's the play. We have a T3 Naval not headquarters, but a T3 Naval facility over here on the other side of the little landmass. But we have, obviously, the Omens have TMD online, which means the cruiser missiles from the UEF aren't going to do anything. Another nuke outbound from Team 2. What's it going for now? Going over here, looking like it'll go after this base. That's going to get destroyed. But it's just slowly whittling down of Team 1's territory, but it's not really going to do anything because even if they do take that out, I mean, it's not going to do anything to Team 2's situation. It's not going to relieve any sort of the pressure from Team 1. Or sorry, on Team 2 from Team 1. Yeah, there we go. Making sure that sentence made sense. In the northern side of things, we have Drumacas in the water. We have Cop over here underneath shield protection from Drumacas. And we have, of course, Dyson over here in the middle. He has the bubble. Is that the bubble shield? That is the bubble shield. Trying to give some protection to all of his structures. Another SMD is loaded, so not going to be effective against that base. T3 Naval Headquarters is still online, but now we have some Omens over here. And again, realistically, it's not going to go anywhere. Maybe the Omens can't get past this. Well, there's an Atlantis over here. That's not helpful. I mean, it's kind of just sitting over here hanging out. Can't get past this. Maybe that's why it's just that the Omens just couldn't get through is possibly what it was. But now that there's one over here, it's not going well. Not going well. I mean, even if the Omens couldn't go through, building a bunch of destroyers and cruisers would have been enough here for Team 1 to really just take out this base over here. But again, it's just a slow death here for Team 2. I think I'll just speed it up to 4 because, again, you can see which way. I mean, the map is 80+% controlled by Team 1. Team 2 still has this little base over here, though. Nice little radar on T2 mechs. We have satellites running around here for Salter. That one did get rebuilt. Artillery being rebuilt as we speak, but it's going to take a while to really do much of anything. 1 hour, 5 minutes. The defense satellite could be used against these Omens, though, but it's a lot of hit points to chew through. Targeting the aircraft carriers first. T3 Naval Headquarters is going to go down. And that's Team 2's efforts in the Navy squashed. Satellite over here not doing anything. It's giving orders to move, almost like they heard me from the ether. Biplanes over the top, getting a nice readout on what Team 2 has remaining. Artillery is almost in the green once more. Nuke almost loaded. Has a second nuke as well. And again, even if you take other territory out, it really doesn't do anything. Team 1 is so far spread out. They have the Navy. That's still an issue. Even if you target the Navy, that'll relieve some of the pressure, but not all of it. Even if you do, I mean, Team 1 can easily just rebuild very quickly. So I don't really see Team 2 getting out of this. ACU says Cop just targeting both of the comms. Nuke is loaded once again. I mean, he could carpet bomb Team 1, but I don't know what you would target necessarily. T3 mechs pumping out engineers. You could target this up here, dealing with the SACU spam that's occurring here for Drimokas. T3 naval headquarters built once again here by Cop in the northwest. Strap bombers are inbound. Coming in from different angles. Looks like they're going after the nuke launcher. There it is. Will the nukes launch? The shields can hold. I think there is enough of them. Spy planes and whatnot getting, again, one final readout. Bombs are dropping. Going after that. No, they're not targeting the nuke. They're targeting the air grid. And artillery raining in as well. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Third nuke about to launch. Those nukes are loading very, very quickly. 276,000 mass killed by that nuke launcher alone. Trying to target the comm, I think. Was that an artillery shell? No, that's a Oh, that's a Scathus. Oh, yeah, that's not going to be great here for Team 2. Yeah, you could nuke the Scathus. There's no SMD. Oh, there is one. Never mind. It is loaded. You got to launch the nukes. Launch the nukes. If you launch the nukes now, you can kill off the Scathus, but I think it's not really going to go well. The air grid here for Salter is also being targeted. Ooh, one more. There it goes. There goes most of that air grid. And Team 2, Sailor Moon control Ks. And also Salter control Ks as well. Ending the game means Team 1 got a flawless victory. 1 hour, 9 minutes with the desync. But at the point at which the desync occurred, I mean, we could see the writing on the wall. Team 2 wasn't going to be able to really fight back long term. I mean, it lasted another essentially 10 minutes. But with that artillery online at the end there, essentially was the last nail in the coffin. 3 nukes were loaded. So they could have killed off that Scathus, but it just wasn't going to be enough. Even if they did kill it off, the game would continue to go on, and Team 1 would probably still win the game. But let me know down in the comments who you felt MVP was. I think Drimokas gets it just because he really, I mean, even though he lost his air grid, he still kept going. He got a nice SACU base online, pumped out tons of battleships, kept the pressure on the southern side of Team 2, or the eastern side of Team 2's landmass, really just taking out structure after structure, took out the artillery. And really after that, that was it for Team 2. So I think Drimokas gets the MVP for this game. And play of the match does go to Seal Force, though, walking his comm all the way up into Team 1's base, trying to make a play for it. Did a great job. Got killed off, of course, but at least, you know, he took out 2 of the air grids, or essentially all of the air grid for both players. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all the time and attention you give to these videos. And of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching, and share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.